Welcome to Inner Niña Podcast, embracing your inner child while leading with strength. This is a space for Latina women and beyond who are ready to break generational cycles and lead from a place of wholeness. Together, we will reconnect with the little girl inside, the one who dreamed big, felt deeply, and longed to be seen, and honor her as we step in fully into our power. Join me, Maria Benitez, for heartfelt reflections and empowering conversations about identity, healing, culture, and leadership. Each episode invites you to embrace your inner niña while leading with authenticity, compassion, and courage. Welcome back to Inner Niña. Today we have a special guest, Dr. Aira Obeso Martinez. Dr. Aira is a doctor of nursing practice, a family nurse practitioner certified, and is a cardiovascular nurse practitioner at Imperial Cardiac Center and the Democratic candidate for California State Assembly District 36. She has over 20 years of experience as an emergency room and intensive care nurse in the Imperial Valley hospitals, along with leadership roles in medical management, information systems, and nursing education. She has also published research on health promotion and evidence-based practice in the Advanced Emergency Nursing Journal. Dr. Obeso Martinez has a strong record of community service, including serving as a board member of ARC of Imperial Valley, past president of Mana de Imperial Valley, a mayor pro tem of the city of Imperial. She currently works with local legislators and city governments to expand health education in underserved rural communities throughout the Imperial Valley. A live resident of the region, she is running for state assembly to bring her healthcare expertise and community advocacy to Sacramento, while continue serving her commitment as a wife, mother, dedicated community leader. And today, I'm proud to welcome Dr. Aira, o Hermana, as I call her. Welcome, Dr. Aira. How are you today? O hermana to many of us. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate, and I'm excited for this space for you. This is new beginnings. I love it.
This started because Hermana's been encouraging me to do this, to create a space where we can highlight the incredible Latinas that we have in our organization, in our community that are making a difference. And when they keep presenting this to me, I'm like, I have a long list of incredible Latinas that are already part of my hermana family. And I'm like, let me start with them, because I get inspired by all of you. So thank you for joining us today and supporting her Inner Niña journey. So one of the things I ask our guests is for them to share their journey, your background, your family dynamics. What are you up to?
So I was born and raised here in the Imperial Valley. My family has lived here, oh my gosh, generations and generations. We're an old family in the valley. The Obeso is my maiden name, and I got married, so that's where the Martinez comes from. I have one brother, a very large extended family. I'm talking like when we have a small get together, it's 40 plus people,
Wow.
So, but I do have one brother. I have 3 kids that I gave birth to, and I got remarried. So my husband also has 3. So we have the Mexican Brady bunch of 3 boys, 3 girls, and 3 dogs. We continue to raise our family here. I'm a product of the valley. And what I mean by that is I went to local schools. I went to the local community college here. A lot of people have that opportunity to leave after they study. I stayed here, attended the local community college where I received my associates in nursing, went on to work for many, many years in the hospital, and I'll talk about that in a second. But my educational journey is associates from Imperial Valley College, a bachelor's from University of Phoenix, and then took a little break from school and went back to school where I have my master's and my doctorate from University of Arizona in nursing practice. So I'm very grateful for my educational journey. It's opened a lot of doors for me. But I primarily started in the ER when I was 19 years old. So I've worked healthcare for a long time. I'm 46 now. So that, you can do the math. So I've primarily worked in emergency room, intensive care units, and a couple other different places. For the last 10 years, I've been a nurse practitioner. Predominantly, I was in cardiology for a good while, but life changed and I started internal medicine 2 weeks ago again. So it's
Nice.
been an adjustment and I'm excited for it though.
So with what the work that you do in the medical field, when do you have time to do a lot of the volunteer work that you
That
do? Because you're so much part of our volunteer
Mhm.
community. And so when do you make time for that?
You know, I always tell people if you want to do something, you will make time for it, regardless of
Hmm.
what it is. If it's your passion, if it's your hobby, if it's, your kids' event, you will make time for it regardless. So yeah, I do work a lot. We have our family. I think it's really important to give back to the community. And in doing so is with the nonprofits. So for me, I was in awe of Mana. Mana is such a staple here in the Imperial Valley. You have these badass women and you're just like, oh my gosh, there's doctors and lawyers and board of supervisors, and they just have these women in high regard. And I was like, I want to be like that someday. And so I would attend the meetings and then eventually join the board. And now I'm past president of Monada Imperial Valley. And so
Hmm.
I'm so proud of the work that we've done and the work that we continue to do because it's not just a one woman show, right? It's a whole
Yeah,
team. And in our case, we volunteer our time. So we're not paid. And we're really excited for the work that we're able to do here locally and how we're able to give back and how we're able to advocate for our Latinas here in our youth. And one of our main focuses has always been advocacy and education. And so we give, women's events, youth events. We have a gala every year. In turn, we raise money for scholarships. And so
hmm.
we're very blessed to be able to give at least $30,000 a year for high school
Wow.
students seeking higher education. And it doesn't have to be, your brick and mortar school. It could be a trade, it could be a technical, whatever it is to help, prepare them for the future. We're very excited to be able to do that. I'm still continue to get excited for those kids when we hand out those scholarships. And so it's a blessing, right? To be able to give back. And so in turn we're being able to bless others as well.
Absolutely. One of the things I think you do a lot of work in the Mana, the Imperial. It's not only the scholarship, you guys do like the fundraising, the drives for back to school,
They
to get
do.
donations for, book supplies are so important because a lot of things they go without. So donations are always welcome. And you also work very close with the farmers because
We do.
Imperial Valley, right?
We have our staples of what we call our community service events. And so if you're not familiar with the Imperial Valley, it's hot. Like even today it's probably in the 80s, right? So our summers are extremely hot here. And those who may be unhoused and or need areas of comfort and a cooling center, the Mana de Imperial Valley makes it a point to be able to give, pellets and pellets of water to the Imperial County Fire Departments. And in turn, those are dispersed throughout the cooling centers. So to give some respite from this heat, sometimes people can't afford to have their air conditioners on. And so these cooling centers throughout the Imperial Valley provide that for individuals. The other thing that we are like tried and true is working with Women Haven, working with our local food banks. We also do the back to school program and our backpack program. Usually it's primarily for kids who are foster youth. And
Hmm.
so we really make an effort to be able to make sure that that backpack is full with whatever they might need to set them up and support them for the beginning of the school year. And so we work together with others, gaining money, supplies, whatever it is, so that we can be able to give at least 100 backpacks plus every year for those returning back to school. So another
That's
thing that we're really
wonderful.
proud of.
That's wonderful. There's one event that I need to be part of one day.
Yeah.
Is the one you guys do in around winter when you go to the farmers and provide them, like gloves, hats,
Mhm.
because it also gets really hot. It also gets really cold,
Does.
and then they're out there picking our fruits and vegetables. I mean, they're hard labor, but they're our farmers.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that you do, and a lot of the volunteer that gets in there, you guys are doing this at the crack of dawn because when I
We
talked to my
are.
other hermana, right? So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that event.
So the Farm Workers Breakfast is a year event. It's held every year, usually in Calexico. And you have, probably hundreds, almost thousands of people who will come through. And so these are the people who put food on our table. They're supplying us with their hard work and dedication to be able to, you know, bring in the crops. And also in turn, that food goes to the rest of the country primarily.
Uh-huh.
So Mana's been very important in giving back in that event. And so, yes, you're right. Sometimes it gets in the 30s and 40s here at nighttime. So it's an honor to be able to give a little something back. During COVID, we gave masks, we gave handkerchiefs.
Uh-huh.
Lately, we've been doing socks, beanies, whatever it is that they might need so that when they're out there working, they have a little bit of warmth and comfort, right? Besides us, there's a lot of other entities out there as well, volunteering their time, their whatever that they might be giving out as well. And so the whole community comes together for that event. And it's a really beautiful thing to see because you'll see everybody at 11 p.m. start setting up
Yeah.
for midnight, and
Yes.
we're out there till about 5 a.m. But it's such a heartwarming event. So we're very fortunate to be able to participate every year with that.
Yeah, I love the fact that Imperial Valley is such a small community, but it's a very tight community. It's not
It is.
only we have a lot of nonprofits, but we collaborate as a community with each other, right? So kind of make sure we're taking care of our people, not
Hmm.
just our girls and our programs, but our families and our community. And I think you
Yeah.
guys set the tone because I see a lot of the activity you guys are doing, and
Yeah.
it's great. And even though you were the past president, you're so part of the organization.
Oh yeah.
It's like you said, it's like, yeah, you did your term, but you're there. You're there rolling your sleeve and doing a lot of the work when those events start taking place to make sure you're being active. But along with being part of the organization, I know you have multiple hats. You
Yeah.
have your medical hat, your
Mhm.
mana hat, but you also are like you work in the city. You participate in a lot of city roles. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, as an extension of being in nonprofits, I thought, how can I make a difference at a different level? And so, for me, in 2022, I ran and won my seat for Imperial City Council. So, it was my first term, my first time ever running. There was 6 of us running. I came in second, which I was grateful for. Now, I'm currently mayor for the city of Imperial, and so
Nice.
I think it's for one, I love Imperial. I grew up here. I know the residents. I'm so proud to be able to be called, the mayor and have that opportunity to serve as mayor. There's lots of good things in this city that I want to continue and continue to bring in. So for me, it's always been on public and fire safety here, our parks, having a good collaboration with our schools. And lately, we've been battling for entities that want to come in and use our resources and use our they call cheaper labor, right? Cheaper land here. And so the city of Imperial has been very trying to take a stand, right? To stand up for our residents
Hmm.
here with a huge data center that wants to be built. And we know job creation is important. We want good jobs here locally, but we also want to be aware of the potentials and the risks and the what ifs, right? And so that's something that we're exploring right now as a city and sticking up for our residents. And so I'm very proud of that. We always want opportunities here, but we want the right kind of opportunities and the kind of opportunities that will last here for our Imperial Valley and our residents, especially the city of Imperial.
Absolutely. So if someone like doesn't know Imperial Valley and is listening or seeing our episode and they're inclined of giving back, what are the recommendations that you recommend them to look into to support the community or they can get involved?
The Imperial Valley, like you mentioned, is a very tight knit, but it's a very giving community as well. We have anything and everything you could think and want to give time to, be it our after school programs, be it our parks, be it some of the service clubs that we have here locally. We have the IV food bank that's always looking for help. We have after school programs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We have Seroptimus here, who's been a really key in partnering like our sister nonprofit with Mana the Imperial Valley. I think people think of the city and the valley of the Imperial Valley as just this really rural place, not much going on, but we're rich in culture, we're rich in family, we're rich in family traditions and that tight knit community. And so when you're in,
Yeah.
we take care of our Imperial Valley residents here, and I think that's a beautiful thing that we have here in this valley.
Yeah.
And anybody who comes in, we wholeheartedly welcome people to our valley, but also being mindful to not, use our valley and or
Right.
resources. So that's what we're kind of battling right now.
That's beautiful. That's great to keep in mind. I mean, I get a chance. I've been there a couple of times, to
Mm-hmm.
participate in you guys' events, and I'm like, wow, you guys are small but mighty.
Very,
So, and
very.
you are incredible. One of the things that, well, a little bit about how we came to meet each other. We're part of the organization, but she's a
Mm-hmm.
president. I was also part of the executive board. And when we were collaborating, we are doing our terms. We created the regional,
Yes.
retreats, and it's a collaboration in our organization because she's part of the Imperial Valley. I was part of. I'm still am. I'm on San Diego. There's
Mm-hmm.
3 chapters here in the West region. And what do we
Yeah.
do is now quarterly meet so we can collaborate. And one of the things we say that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If something's working for one of the chapters, how do we kind of, mirror that and
Yeah.
benefit from each other? We grow together. So that's been a fun part. So we get to do a lot of things at a local level, regional level, and also at a national level. So anytime that we have like the national conference, there's an extra time for us to come together
Hang out,
and
come together.
and
Yeah.
bond. So it's been incredible. And one of her other partners now partnering with me in the national board,
Mm-hmm.
Martha. So
Yes.
it's been great to kind of see the things that you guys are not only doing with the organization, but the community and the civil volunteer that you guys are doing. And I'm always curious to learn when I get together with you guys, ask
Mhm.
questions like, oh, how are you doing that? And how you get
Yeah.
involved. So that's always great. And my question's like when do you have time? Because I'm like, you have so many hats, so many titles, but you still make time even for fun stuff. So which is what I
We
think I
do,
love.
we do. We try as a outlet again, like I'm always thinking, how can I give back to my community? How can I serve my community? I decided to run for state assembly to represent this
Yes.
area here. So, Assembly District 36 encompasses Coachella, Indio, all the way to Yuma, Calexico, the border there, up to Needles, a little bit of Winchester. It's a huge district, but very much has needs here, right? We need job creation. We need good, healthy, environment here. We need our schools. We need our people to want to stay here because there's jobs and housing opportunities here. And so that was a huge reason, especially healthcare, of why I
Mhm.
decided to run for the state assembly. Again, you're like, well, you're already doing this, you're doing that, but like, how can I give back at a different level and help more people in the district, not necessarily the Imperial Valley, but the whole district? And so I thought it was really important. One of the main things I'm running is on healthcare. We've had 2 hospitals potentially almost close and this close to closing. There's another hospital in Palo Verde that is Blythe, California, that is very much on the verge of closing as well. We have a lot of underserved needs here, very rural, unfortunately, very poor district. And so, who better to highlight and want to bring the focus back on this district? And that's one of the reasons why I'm running.
When I heard that you were running, I was like, wow. I'm like, I reach out to you. I'm like, what do you need? How can I get
Yeah.
involved? How can I help you?
Thank you.
I know I'm like many hours away, but I'm like, because
But
to
everything
me,
helps. It's connecting.
so, well, this is where, you know me, I'm always like, how can I help you? What do you need? And I'm there.
Mhm.
And one of the things that really touched me a little bit is because growing up, sometimes we get really comfortable, right? It's easy for us to be comfortable. And I'm sure probably whoever's listening, this is kind of like what my mind was operating. It's like, I'm glad that you were able to pivot because you don't need to do anything else. You have a very, thriving career where you're doing. You're very,
Mhm.
very active in your community, getting involved in something that's new, but you've been doing the community involvement and people are like, why are you doing that? I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm just thinking to myself, I probably am like, because my mom would probably would tell me, don't do it. You're fine where you're at, quédate
Mhm.
ahí, right? But that just tells me it's like, it's okay to pivot and try something else because you want to make a difference in that area. Because it's easier to stay calm and you'll be like,
In
I'm
your little
comfortable
box.
in your little box and you're comfortable, but comfort doesn't get you anything. Comfort doesn't bring change, right? So I'm glad that you're doing. That's why I'm like, wow, I already knew you were a badass, but to me, that's even more of a baddie because it's like, I'm gonna do it. There's a need for this and there's a need for that, and I know that I can
Mhm.
advocate for this. And who better than you to do it? You have a proven track record of doing a lot of things in the community.
Yeah.
You're really involved in what you see that needs to be to be taken care of. So you will be the right candidate for that role because you're so already involved in what's needed in the community and you can make a difference. That to me is a really good message to all the
Thank you.
generations that will be listening and seeing this
Yeah.
podcast is because it's okay to get out of your little box,
It
you know?
is.
It
I,
is.
I have a great career. I have a great family. I have, great work that I'm doing here locally. And I'm so blessed to be able to do that. But when you see a need and you see something that needs to change, people have to step up. And I've had
Mm-hmm.
trailblazers here in my valley and women that I look up to, like Martha, she's the first Latina board of supervisor, right? We have federal judges that are MANA members here, that those are the people that I look up to because they set the standard and they set the bar so high. We have federal judges. We have, our Latinas here are badass in the things that they
Mm-hmm.
do here locally. And
Mm-hmm.
so they are trailblazers. They are setting the rest of us up for opportunities and greater greatness, right? And so I think I'm very fortunate to be on this path and, be it what comes or, if I'm elected or not, it's still an amazing opportunity. I'm learning
Yes.
so much and hearing so many stories. And I'm so fortunate to be able to hear everybody's story, what their needs are, what their wants are, what their hopes are for this district.
Well, I love it. And if anybody wants to help, how can we offer support? What can we do support? Where can they
Locally,
reach you?
it's, walking, volunteering, it's canvassing, it's donating, fundraising.
Okay.
Campaigns are not cheap. When you want to get your message out there, you have to pay for advertising and, giving back $20, $200, whatever. It all counts and it's all helpful in regards to fundraising to help. It's a very grassroots campaign, very organic. I'm very blessed with the people who have supported me and gave to the campaign so that we can continue the work and be in India and Coachella and drive to Sacramento and have those meetings and advocate for this community.
When is the elections?
So the primary is in June. And then the runoff, if I make it out of the primaries, it would be in November.
So, well, are you gonna have any current events happening
I had
anytime soon?
one not too long ago here. I had a meet and greet in Sacramento as well, so I can know people from that end because these will be decision makers if I'm
Hmm.
elected as well. And so I've been also in Indio and Coachella a lot as well. Yeah, so I'm
Awesome.
everywhere. If you see me, stop
I
me. Let's talk. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, please reach out to her. She's very involved in social media, so you can find her on LinkedIn. You can find her Instagram. And
Yeah.
also she also find her on TikTok. She's part of the Mana family, and you
Mhm.
also can connect with the Mana the Imperial Valley. And
Yes.
so that's there's ways that we can. We're gonna put all that information
Thank
and the
you.
links and hashtag in our episodes as well. So that's all great.
Thank
I love
you.
it. So
Thank you.
I know what keeps you busy with a lot of things the little bit that I know, and one things I'm learning as I interview all my incredible Latinas is I only scratch the surface because when I'm talking to them, I know a little bit about them. And when
Hmm.
I talk to them, I'm learning so much more, right? So tell us what else like motivates you to do what you do.
And I don't share this story very often, but I'm gonna share it because this was who brought it up to me was Martha. She's like, the first time you started advocating was a long, long time ago. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? Because you don't think about it and you don't put things, or at least I hadn't put things into that context of that was advocating. So my family, growing up, my dad was in farming up until I was like 13, 14 years old, right? So all we knew was farming. We knew the fields, the combine tractors, the being out there. That farming outfit closed and he ended up working for Caltrans. And so that was an amazing job. It was a union job for us. It allowed us to have our first home, to be very secure, very safe income. And my dad worked there for many, many years. He worked there probably almost 22 years. Again, living, very close to my parents and so forth. I would see my dad every Sunday, during the week. And so our family was very close, is very close. Unfortunately, he was killed on the job by a guy who was under the influence. At
Oh,
the time, you're very angry and you're very mad and you're like wondering why God, why did, my family's a good family. Why would this happen? But because of that, I was able to talk at the Capitol steps and advocate for slowing down for our Caltrans workers, for our EMS, pulling over to the side, not being in their line of traffic. And I actually just found it was on YouTube, the video of me talking at the state capitol. This is back in 2012, I want to say. It clicked for me that that was my first time advocating for something. I was advocating for the safety of our Caltrans workers at that time. Since then, right? You do other things and life happens, but that was the very first click of me doing something because I saw something that needed to change. I continue to raise my family here. I'm married. It's my brother and myself, like I mentioned. And when my mom got sick this last 2 years or so, we were navigating the medical scene. We were navigating medical decisions. How do you care for a loved one? How do you manage working and taking care of a mother who's sick, right? Who
Yeah.
can't work and can't take care of herself. We were navigating UCSD for about 3.5 months while she was admitted over there, and we're here in the Imperial Valley. So she was in San Diego and we're here. That was a lot of advocating for just your parent in the healthcare system. It's learning those avenues that I myself have medical knowledge, but the average Joe or Jill doesn't. And so those are things we need more patient advocates, more people that can advocate for their family members. Unfortunately, my mom did pass away from her cancer in July
Mm-hmm.
20, just recently,
Yeah.
July. And that was, of course, it's your mother passing away, but it was a very eye opening to see if I have medical knowledge and I'm still having a hard time navigating the medical system, what happens with
Mm-hmm.
other people, right? And so I'm very big on the healthcare aspect of making sure we have good quality healthcare locally, making sure that we have patient advocates that can help navigate this system that's not well known to a lot of people in the insurance system as well. And so, I was blessed to be able to take care of my mom along with my sister-in-law and my brother, but not every family has that opportunity, right? And so it was another reason why, again, I wanted to run, help people, make sure we have good quality healthcare here.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
We've been in contact through that process, and my heart went out to you and still does. So unfortunately, that tragedy sometimes are presented as opportunity, as things that we have to learn to make sure others don't go through the same, right? As you said, the medical, it's like it gets more complicated because unless
Mhm.
you navigate and know that piece, when you're in the midst of things, you don't want to deal with the red tape of what do you do? Who
The
you call?
bureaucracy of it. Yeah.
It's just it makes it so complicated. I'm glad that you have that knowledge, both
Mhm.
from your field of career, but because you've experienced it through a loss with your
Yeah.
dad and not with your mom, two different things. When you
Mhm.
mentioned that what you were advocating for your dad, what came out of that advocacy and speaking on the safety piece for Caltrans workers?
You know,
Were you able to things
for
in place?
at the state level, I was grateful they named like that day after my father. We advocated to rename the freeway after him. So if you're ever going down the 8 going to San Diego, it's Jaime Oveso and that's named after him. So we were able to advocate that way. I'm not saying like I did it, but now you'll see CHP behind our Caltrans workers and our people who are working on the roads. There's more signage, more
Mm-hmm.
um opportunities, right? To be mindful and to be aware to slow down. And so that was a big thing for me is like slow down, move over at that time because a lot of people, we all travel, we're all on the freeways and
Mm-hmm.
highways. And sometimes you have people this close and the cars are that close, right? And so these are people's family members, moms, wives, brothers, sisters, daughters. And so we want to make sure that they get home to their family members as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
I'm glad you were able to do that, and and you advocating. So, anything that
Yeah.
we could do to help,
Mhm.
me included.
Thank you.
I'm just a phone call away, and I
Thank
will
you.
check with you afterwards because I'm interested in learning the
Mhm.
process, and everybody has a gift. Everybody has their own little talent. For me, what I'm doing right now is like I'm more of a cheerleader. I get excited. You know me in
Yeah.
person, right? You already know me. I'm like rah rah for you guys. And it's like I want to give a platform where I can showcase the, the incredible Latinas I know, like you and the rest of the ladies, because we want role models. And to me, you
Mhm.
guys are role models. And as people that may be wondering, I have no one I can relate to, they can tune in and say, well, I can relate to her, whether
Yeah.
it's through a loss, through a career, whether a career change, a journey, whatever that may be. I was just talking to Corey, the other hermana from North County, and she was like, she had to create a binder of Latinas because the only Latinas that the girls in the program knew were like, no, J-Lo and Shakira, right? And I'm like, so she made it a mission to create a binder, right, of Latinas in really incredible careers, like an astronaut or
Mhm.
doctors, and
Mhm.
and so she has that binder. And I said, Corey, you're doing the binder, I'm doing this channel. So I'm
Yes.
creating a digital channel
Yeah.
where people can relate from, because I
But
have
you're
girls from all
collecting
ages.
stories, though. You're collecting the same information in that
Yeah.
binder, but in a digital format.
And they can find it relatable, whether you're
Mhm.
jogging or working on and you listen to a podcast and you're
Mhm.
listening to Dr. Ida's story, how she gets started or how she's reinventing a little bit of herself because she
Mhm.
saw a benefit and needed. They can find someone they can relate. Or they can, listen to the episode I had yesterday, Marisol Valdez, who's, she just was working with Governor Gavin Newsom,
Mhm.
and she's now doing contract work with Berkeley. And so she can
That's
inspire that
amazing.
generation to say, oh, that's possible. Maybe I could do that. And if they're not seeing themselves, they can see themselves with one of my incredible friends here, hermanas, that they could be done and we can serve as an inspiration. I know I always get inspired. And I can't say that a lot. I can stop saying that because every time we get together, whether it's at a
Mhm.
local, regional, or at a national conference, I come back re-energized.
Yep.
New Energizer battery got recharged while I'm there because I'm like, wow, I didn't know she was doing this. And when you put us all in a group, you can't tell. We're running, our own companies, we're running, city official jobs or
Mhm.
the court system, whatever it may be. But we come back and we're like, wow. And I say that a lot, and I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
You know what it
They're doing a
is?
less.
I found myself included because in this new space, I kind of have to sell myself, to people and get them on board of why they should join me in this campaign and support me. And I think sometimes as women and myself included, we just do it. Right. You just do
Yeah.
it. You're just in the motions. You're just doing your job. You're just taking care of your kids. You're just, giving to the nonprofit. You're just doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
But then you quantify it and list it, you're like, damn, I've done a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the missing part that a lot of us don't toot our own horn, or
Mm-hmm.
we don't write down all the accomplishments that we've done because we don't see it as that. We just see it as part of the things we're already
Yeah.
doing. And yeah, we have amazing, amazing, amazing women. And when you write down all the things these women are doing, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, I read something of myself. I was like, dang, I did all that, but you don't think about it because you
Yeah.
just are doing it.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the bios and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, how can I condense the two-page bios from these women into like a brief intro?" I'm like, oh, can
I
you help me
know.
write it?
I know.
Because I'm like, I didn't know this. What do you mean you have all these titles? What do you mean you have all these degrees? What do you mean you? And I'm like, wow, but to
Yeah.
your point, we kind of tune down ourselves, right? Because,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's our culture thing, or sometimes they call it imposter syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Where we're like, no, we are achieving a lot of stuff, but we don't give each other credit because we've been told to, like, it's okay, you have to be modest. In this
Yeah.
particular case, don't need to be modest because you're doing the
Mm-mm.
work. And
Mhm.
if you're able to shine that light, then you're helping others figure out, oh, I can do the same. And so, let us shine the light for you. Cause, like when I saw all your accomplishment, I was like, I won't lie. I was like Googling, what is this? My husband works to close. My husband works at a hospital. He manages a
Yeah.
hospital. So I'm
Yeah.
like, because this is new for me. My
Yeah.
background is completely different. And I was like, you call me. And I was Googling. I started to make sure I get this right. And he was like, yeah, this means this and this, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But, and that's comes a lot with a lot of other Latinas that I've been talking to. I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
I didn't know they had all this. under the belt. Because when you see us together, we're socializing, we're
We're
talking about what
goofy.
we're present.
We're having
Yeah,
fun.
we're like, like hermanas,
Mhm.
socializing. We're doing the work. When we get together, no,
Mhm. We're
don't
having
doubt
fun
that we're
though.
not doing work,
Yeah.
but we are having fun. We're like, get us in a group together and we're laughing and dancing and being silly. And when we leave, we're like, okay, we've accomplished this. We need to get this. And it's a
Mhm.
matter of fact, but we don't get into a lot of the things that we do on our own or what our journey looks like, right?
Yeah.
And we should highlight that.
We
We should
should.
like that.
And
And
so
we
thank
should
you for
celebrate.
this because this is a space to be able to highlight that. I mean, I don't think anybody just comes out and just wants to start talking about themselves and what's going on. It's usually in these type of conversations where these things open up and you learn more about who you're with, who's on the board with you, and in turn it kind of frames their mindset and how maybe they approach things because of maybe this is how they grew up or this was their life experiences. And so I love the beauty of the board that we have. And I'm sure you've seen it on a national level. You get all these women from different areas in their life and their age group and their experiences, and then you bring them together to serve on a national board or the local chapter, and in our case the regional board. I mean, I was one thing I was so super proud of was that we came together regionally because we're all doing the work, but let me learn how you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
Learn from us how we're doing it here. And so it's such a beautiful space and opportunity to be able to learn from each other at the regional level, and then just bring that and come together at the national level as well. And so I'm always talking about Mana. I'm very proud of Mana and all the work that, Amy and the amazing work that she does. And then I read stuff like she's doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's in
Yes.
all these different spaces.
Yes.
And I'm like, hell yeah, she should be. We all should be. So I'm very proud of her as well to be able to
Yes.
be there and to be an advocate and to be a leader and speak up.
I agree. She does a lot of great work, and it goes back to even her. Amy is our CEO, and she does a
Mhm.
lot of work behind the scenes. She's in Washington,
Yeah.
and I'm always having this conversation with her. I'm like, Amy, I know you're doing this stuff. Let me share it. And
Yes.
we've had conversations like, well, I don't want people that that I'm showing off. You're not showing off. You're
No.
representing us. You're
Mhm.
representing the organization. Let me help you boost that up because the hermanas that are sitting in different chapters in their home, they're not knowing that there's a lot of things going behind the scenes that our individual chapters are doing, our
Mhm.
national board is doing to make sure that get the word out there. And so I'm like, no, let me have it. And if you see what I do, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like tagging everybody. I'm like, look, I'm gonna tag everybody because my thing is like I believe so much in the work that we're doing. We all have a gift, and we sit on the national board. I'm like, I cannot do Amy's job. I cannot do Martha's job. They make it look
Mhm.
so easy, but that's their niche.
Yep.
That's their superpower. Mine is different. Mine
Mhm.
is like, I'm passionate. I'm into the growth mode right now. How can we grow our organization? How can we create opportunities for our individual chapters to grow and support them, right? How can we advocate so we can continue duplicating what we do so we can bring those, benefits to our communities and our girls?
Yeah.
And right now I'm like, we have two national new members coming in. And I'm like, okay, how do we get collegiate chapters? That's kind of like, and I'm talking about it as much as I can because I'm thinking I put it out there in the universe. God will hear
It's
me,
gonna happen.
and it's manifesting. We started one collegiate chapter, and then how great we already have sororities, but this is not a sororities. This is a support system that is going to
Mhm.
continue mentoring the girls in their walk of life through education. Because I keep saying we're never too old or too young to get that support system or that mentorship.
I
We need
agree.
it. You and I still need it. And we
Mhm.
are careered, women. And so what makes the things that girls in our college don't need that mentorship, right? And we need the most
I
support.
I think that's one of the things that, seeing Richly and her group, right?
Yeah.
Bringing that to even our community college, we do have several women who are a part of the Imperial Valley College system here, the community college. And so I think that's just another opportunity to be able to have a chapter here locally, whatever that might look like. And then in addition to that, because we're so close with the San Diego State, maybe that blends over that way. That would be the ultimate goal. And think about that, like you're saying, mentorship, these madrinas or these tias, as you go along. We have our Hermanitas program, which is amazing.
Hmm.
Lizzie and Britta have done such an amazing work with their monthly. So it's now through the school year program as opposed to just, a couple times here and there. And so the work that they're doing extends into the high school now, from the high school. And I would really want that to be at the community college and then follow into our San Diego state system here. And so that is a great opportunity to continue to follow these girls in their journey and be
Yeah.
that support system for them. And then later on, is it medical, you know, law, whatever it is that they might need, and have that mentorship for them as well coming on when they, yeah.
I'm envisioning that because I see the benefit. And actually, when I got together with the national board in October, and I shared with the national board that I reached out to East LA College, and I already reached out to them, and I've been talking to them. So I'm going to continue to, connect with them
Hmm.
because I have my an experience. I didn't have the support system in place, and it took me too long to even get that associate's degree. And
Yeah.
because of my challenges, I'm like, I don't want people to go through that, the girls to go through that. So we create a support system where someone's in there and say, hey, let me help you. Let me walk you through. And if not, they don't have the answer. Well, we have a support system, which is what I tell the
Hmm.
girls. You
Hmm.
mentioned Richie and the collegiate chapter. They're there to support. Where they're, you can call one of us. Is that
Yeah.
created the hermanas? I'm like, wait, well, I know someone that's working on political science degree, or maybe someone that's in a doctor or a legal
Hmm.
degree. What can I
Yes.
do to help them, navigate through that process, right? And that's kind of like what we're hoping. Martha, Gabby, and I, part of the three national board, we're like, okay, what can we learn so we can start,
Hmm.
knocking on these doors and say, hey, there's benefits on these programs,
There
and this
is.
can help, with retention, get students more involved, Ida from East University of Pennsylvania, the collegiate
Hmm.
chapter mentioned that,
Hmm.
they've only been the collegiate chapter, which is the newest chapter, 2.5 years. They have 60 members,
Wow.
60 members.
That's
And this is
amazing.
this is the thing that I'm sharing this because I get really excited because it can be done. They already are saying that,
You're setting the example, the
they're setting
standard
the
there.
example. Not
Yeah.
only they have that, but they have hermanos that are in the chapter,
Oh,
and they have
wonderful.
non-Latinos joining the chapter because they see all the community events and involvements that they're doing.
That's
And talking to
amazing.
her, she's looking into creating an Hermanitas program. So the collegiate, students to
Hmm.
go help create an Hermanitas program with the other schools outside. And I'm like, I'm just hearing and I'm like, my
Yeah.
mind's blown, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
how can I duplicate that, Ida? Please help me put that in a process. Let's share. And I want each chapter, if I can, to hear her journey
That
because
would
I
be
got so
amazing.
excited because but they're probably in a small chapter. They're probably thinking, I don't know how to do that. Maybe that can be done. They can just listen to her and they can reach out to her. Because she said, "Hermana," I said, "Yeah, no, I didn't. This is how we did it. We got the support from the students. It was student led." And then
Yeah.
she gives them the platform to create with these ideas, and they're the ones that are growing it. And they're
Hmm.
getting a lot of accolades from the city and also from not only the local city, but other people are talking about the university and the things that they're doing through Mana. And
That's so
so,
amazing.
yeah, you guys need to listen to that episode because I'm like,
I
I'm gonna use that episode and I'm gonna go to East LA College and I'm like, look, we
make
can
this
do this.
happen. I'm
Can
gonna
we?
make. I'm gonna plan. We're gonna do it here local. We're gonna make it happen
Yeah.
too. I
Let me
love that.
know. And then you talk to Martha, Gabby and I. We already talked to Amy. We're like, give us the steps that we need to do
Hmm.
because we want to
Hmm.
start. We have someone from LA that's reached out. They want to start a chapter over there and at one of the
Perfect.
schools over there. But we need with intent to put a game plan or plan.
Like a how to, form a chapter, the
Yeah.
501, the nonprofit status of it. What are the
But
steps?
create a committee. I was
Uh,
thinking, Martha, I mean, I talked about is creating that committee where if they have interest, we'll be the committee to help them walk through rather than here, just read it and figure it out. I don't
that'd be
I don't learn
perfect.
that I don't learn that way.
Mhm.
I've had to, but I prefer to create a committee where it's creating that support system. Right? 'Cause that's what we want to do, create that support system for our growth and that support system for our girls. So yeah, so that's some of the things that we are
That's
trying to share with
amazing.
these stories because I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm excited. You're now part of national. I said, you and I are talking because you already have the formula and I need to figure out how do I duplicate that
How to do
formula
it.
and help duplicate it, across the chapters and they can listen to her and then they can reach out to her and say, okay, how do you do that? And, what are you doing? And so she had great ideas and,
What an
like I
amazing
really
opportunity.
encourage. Yeah. So just so you know, and if you need that, let me know. I'm down for it. So I see that as a benefit.
Of
I see that as a
course.
benefit. You know what I mean? And so,
So it's funny that you say that because very organic, and it's not mine that grew it. Some of the other ladies, we have a high concentration of women, Latinas, who have doctorates here in the Imperial Valley. Very, very much a lot of women who have their doctorate here locally,
nice.
or people who are in school to get a PhD, EDD, whatever it is. And so haphazardly, we formed a doctora group in the Imperial Valley. And so we also kind of like, the tias or the madrinas is we help to mentor, help to talk, help to facilitate whatever we can for those women who have their doctorate or are going through the program right now. And so when we meet quarterly, it's with Dr. Gina Nunez here from SDSU, some other women who are in the program who are finished, and we just bounce ideas off of each other. We say what's going on in their lives. What are they working on? Are they working on a dissertation? And so it was formed quickly, but very intensely, and it's done so much work. It's the American Association of Hispanics in Higher Education. So they're having a conference in March in San Diego State. And the doctora group, four of us, will be on a panel speaking to students that day. And so we're really excited to bring another portion of what we do and what we're doing locally and how does that translate to students, nationwide and here in California. So
Wow,
we're
that's so
excited
cool.
for that. Yeah, it's the
That
first
is
for
so
me. I was like, okay, so something new.
That's wonderful. Well, yeah, I'll love to hear more about it when you have that
I
event,
thank you.
So it's a by ticket or is it by invitation
It's a
only?
conference. Yeah, it's in March and it'll be at SDSU and it's available. Registration is available online. It's March 27th through the 29th.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
Maybe I'll make my
excited.
way over there and
Yes,
see
yes,
you. So
yes.
it's anytime that you guys come over here, just like let me know. There's a lot
I
of events
will.
that are happening in San Diego. I know you're in Imperial Valley, but there's a lot of
There's
things that
always
happen here.
something.
So yeah,
Er,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. Well, that sounds
yes.
like fun. You have a lot of stuff happening for you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see all the things that are going to come up with your new journey and let me know anything that I could do to help support that
Thank
process
you.
for
This
you.
is this is good support. This is an opportunity to learn what you're doing, you learn what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And so thank you for this space. It's always wonderful to talk to you and I always feel energized like you're saying, right? Like let's get after it. So,
Let's just do it.
yeah.
Some of my friends that have a nickname is they call me Nikki. I'm fading out away out of that nickname because I feel like more
Mhm.
like Maria. I'm in my
Yeah.
senora stage right now. So but, growing up, I was telling my Nikki and I was like, my motto was just do it because it's Nike, Nikki. I
Yeah.
go, just
Yeah.
do it. And I'm like, don't talk about it.
Mhm.
Let's just do it. And so to me, it's like that's kind of like where my mindset is right now.
It's good.
2026 will be an incredible year. There's a lot of challenges that as a community we're trying to overcome.
Mhm.
We're being resourceful on how to continue helping our families and our communities with this difficult time that we're having here in our country. And we still one thing that I tell my girls that I've adopted and through our Mana family is three things that I like to live by and model is that support, elevate, and celebrate each other. Right. When I hear to compete is how can I elevate? I'm creating this platform because I'm a fan of so many of you. And so I want
Mhm.
to be able to kind of highlight the incredible badass Latinas that I know. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna start with the ones that I know that are close to me here, right? And we have a large community because we're nationwide as an organization, and I'm constantly meeting new ones. But I want to start with the ones that are close to home. the Idas or Marthas, the ones that are already doing the work locally in the organization.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a lot in your career and in your community. So it's my pleasure to bring this platform to highlight you individually. So when you get a chance, send me more information so I can tag those in our episodes, and I'll be following up in our social media. So one of the things that, you shared a lot with what you're doing, but what kind of wisdom, words of wisdom can Dr. Aira give us and share with us?
Don't be afraid to get out of your own way. And what I mean by that is just sometimes we get too comfortable, and it's okay to be scared. Like you say, just do it anyways. I say, fuck it, just do it. I'm like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And that's it. If it happens, it happens. But you know what? We're going to really try to make it happen. So yeah, same thing, in anything you do, put your whole heart into it, do it with your heart and your mind. And it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's also okay to toot your own horn and tell your story. Because no one else is going to tell it for you. You have to tell it.
No. And I love the fact that you're doing what you're doing, because we talk about it, it's okay to be uncomfortable and also disregard the noise, because a lot of times people think they know what is best for us and they start giving them their opinion, and they're comfortable being comfortable, right? Too comfortable. And then they're trying to tell us how to live our life.
I agree.
Don't listen. Follow your heart. Listen to your inner niña, the little one inside is saying, I can do it. You can do it. We can do it. So I'm glad to hear that, and that you're doing all that. So if you had a chance to go back and talk to your little inner niña, your little Aira, what would you tell her?
Back then, don't be afraid to ask for help. And why I say that is that I was a first generation college student, in my family. Didn't know how to fill out a FAFSA, didn't know how to, apply for school loans, was never taught that because my parents didn't know it. And I think my trajectory probably would have been different. My schooling would have been different. It probably would have went away, and I might not ever, God always has a plan, come back here, but it's okay to ask a lot of questions. That's why people are there to help. And if you really don't know something or your parents don't know it, ask somebody who might be able to help you with that. Because that was like FAFSAs, right? School loans, financial aid, those kind of things. No one teaches you that. Now they do, but I'm talking this was like 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
That's something you had to learn on your own. And so I think my niña at that point, I would have been like, ask for more help. Like, what is it that you need? Still listen to your gut. Your gut is your gut. It warns you. It tells you.
Yeah.
You just got to listen.
Well, I'm glad. It's a great sound advice. So thank you for that. And I want to say thank you, Manita. Thank you, Dr. Aira, for joining us today and sharing your story. And to our listeners, thank you for listening and holding space for me. I am Maria Benitez, and this is our journey together. Until next time. Thank you. Thank you, Manita.
Thank you.
Te quiero mucho.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for holding space for me. And thank you for allowing me to walk beside you as you heal your inner niña. Until next time, please don't forget to follow and subscribe.